Your college degree just simply doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I know that's really tough to hear. I know you've been expecting to just receive your degree after graduation and get a high paying job and then live your life happily ever after. But I'm so sorry to tell you that is not how it works and that's not how it's going to work for you. And why should you listen to me? Well, you shouldn't because I'm just a stranger on the internet. But hi YouTube, my name is Ansh. I'm 22 years old. I graduated from New York University with a double major in economics and data science last year. I graduated with like a 3.75, maintained a 3.9 until my senior year. I come from a CBSE high school. I did my high schooling in Dubai. So I kind of know how it's like being a university student, especially in the United States. Everybody around me used to tell me, man, you're gonna get a high paying job after graduation. You're double majoring, you're such a high GPA, you have leadership experience, you have on-campus jobs, you have a couple internships under your belt. How could you not get a job? If you can't get a job, then we are cooked. And you know what? I can see why they would say that, because from the outside of things, if you look at my resume, it is really comprehensive and I should get a high paying consulting or investment banking job. But guess what? None of that happened. And it's because of one particular reason. I remember one day, one of my Jiju's uncle, he asked me, what makes you worthy of a 80K, 100K a year a job after graduation at the age of 22? What value do you bring to the table to these big companies so that you warrant that kind of a salary? And I started making up excuses and I started making up reasons. I was like, oh, I have Excel skills, I have a few Python skills, I can code, I'm a problem solver, I can think logically. And he just sort of gave me a blank expression and I felt called out even though he didn't say anything, because I knew he was right. I was like, I don't really have any tangible real world skills that I can sell myself on to big companies or startups. This was the case until my 7th semester. I had skills, obviously. I was a good problem solver. I had a great resume, but there wasn't anything that was setting me apart from the rest of the crowd. My GPA wasn't going to cut it, because in your interviews, nobody is going to ask you about your GPA. Nobody is really asking you about the courses you took. Nobody is asking you how you fared in advanced macroeconomics or what kind of grade you got in data structures. Nobody's asking you that. Most organizations, most startups care about the value you can provide to their organization on day one. What are you going to do that will help them solve their problems? What are you going to do that is going to advance their business forward or generate them revenue? You need to have a tangible skill, a high value skill that you can sell to these companies, to these startups. For me, I didn't have a tangible high value skill with proof of work online or offline that I could show because I just hadn't put in the work. I didn't have any projects. I had a couple of internships under my belt. The first one was only 2 weeks long because I got fired 2 weeks in. I'm gonna make a video about that soon. The second one was at an MNC, but it was in Dubai. It wasn't even in the United States, and I didn't really do shit in that internship, so I couldn't even talk about my experiences as if they were something that really transformed how I was as a person and how many skills I could bring to the table. I was truly bullshitting and I was truly just faking it till I make it in most of my interviews because I knew that I didn't have that work experience that these guys require from me. And in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't, because those jobs were never meant for me. If you want some more context, watch my previous video where I talk about my entire journey from getting rejected from my jobs and starting content creation and then now building a startup. But please, dude, don't delude yourself into thinking that simply because you're graduating from an elite university with a high GPA, with a bit of work experience and difficult or different majors under your belt, that somehow recruiters are going to be knocking at your door, companies are going to be knocking at your door and handing you job offers like there's no tomorrow. That is simply not how the real world works. A harsh reality about the corporate world and about startup life is that people who get these jobs are usually not the smartest. It's people who are earlier in the job application process or who know somebody so they can use their connections to get a job, get a referral, get an interview, and people who have their LinkedIn profile optimized or who have a personal brand online with a lot of proof of work. That is the world we live in 2025. Spraying job applications online and then praying that somehow you're going to get an interview and get a job offer is only going to work to a limited extent because of the fact that there is so much competition. You need something that's going to make you stand out. And that something, like I said earlier, is a tangible, real world, high value skill. But now, Ansh, what are those real world skills? What can I be learning at the age of 18, 19, 20? Let me tell you. First thing, content creation. And I know what you're thinking, oh my god, I gotta make YouTube videos, I gotta make Instagram content now. it's more than that. Content creation is a very broad term. There are so many things that you need to learn within the purview of content creation. There's copywriting, there's writing, there's directing, there's shooting, there's editing, graphic design, there's thumbnail design, there is marketing, there is the business side of things, there's knowing how to sell a product, pitch a service, knowing how to pitch yourself to people, pitch yourself to brands. All of those things you learn when you become a content creator. Another amazing skill you can learn right now is learning how to use AI tools, learning how to use no-code tools like Make.com, Zapier.com, knowing how to code with tools like Cursor, Replit, ChatGPT, Claude, knowing how to use these tools because they are so powerful and you can build projects, websites, and apps from an idea to an MVP in just one weekend or in 2 weekends. Grab a friend of yours and start building something. Because the best way of showing an employer that you are worthy of being hired is by showing your work, is by showing that you have built something from scratch, not because your dad was telling you to do it, not because you had to do it for a class project, simply because of the fact that it piqued your natural curiosity and you just did it because you wanted to do it. Obviously, knowing how to code is something that is going to be forever applicable, but I feel like the barrier to entry when it comes to coding is reducing day by day simply because of the AI tools out there. So knowing how to code is important, but knowing how to use different tools and also knowing how to code and also knowing how to sell these things is far more important. Like combining those skills and skill stacking is going to take you farther than just knowing one skill. Can we appreciate the fact that I've been putting on different outfits for every single video? Guys, like, come on, give me some props. I don't be wearing all of these things at home, bro. I just be wearing my home clothes. I'm dressing up for you guys. Anyway, if you're just beginning college or you're going to be a student, I would urge you to not just focus on your GPA. Yes, learn from your courses and yes, talk to your professors, but make friends with those in your class, talk to people in different clubs, connect with these people because in the future, the people around you, your peers are the ones who are going to be running these companies, who are going to be building startups. So horizontal networking is super important. That's something I wish I did more of because I was just too shy in college and I would never really speak. I would speak, but I wish I did more of that. I would also urge you to start building stuff. Just build anything. Like if you have an idea, just put it in ChatGPT and be like, how can I build this? How can I sell this? Just start small. If you don't have any ideas, that is really surprising to me because there are so many ideas out there. You don't have to come up with something new. You don't have to be a genius. You can just replicate something that somebody's done. Simply because one product already exists doesn't mean that another variation of that product cannot exist. You would just have to cater to different audiences. And if none of that is appealing to you, if you don't want to build anything, then build yourself. Build yourself up to the point that other people want to talk to you. Build your physique. If you're a skinny brown boy, if you have some skinny fat, or if you're just obese, dude, go to the gym, go run, go play some sports, build your physique, build some biceps. You're going to gain a lot of confidence. Build the way you speak in public, build the way you present yourself, invest in your skincare, invest in your hair, invest in your fashion sense. People really like to be associated with pretty people. I think that's just a fact. Everybody knows pretty privilege is a real thing. So take advantage of that. And if you're not conventionally attractive, that's okay. I don't think I'm conventionally attractive, but over time I've been putting in the work by building my physique, doing skincare, like I just said, all of these things. And by doing that, I am becoming more and more attractive, and you can do the same. Also, I don't want you to feel stressed out after watching this video because likely you have time. You're like 18, 19 years old. You're still a freshman or sophomore. So you have time, but now is the time to start thinking about what you want to do after graduation, what you want to be known as, what kind of skills you want to develop, what kind of role you want to be in, what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to be an employee? All of these questions, you have to start simmering them in your head because it takes a while to figure these things out and it's going to take a while for you to figure yourself out. Please don't just sit in your dorm room and watch anime all day and expect that you're going to get a job offer after graduation because brother, you have no skills, you have no network, your resume looks like absolute shite, you have no digital presence so people don't even know who you are. So right now is the time to start working. Right now is the time to start thinking about your future and making a name for yourself. It is not that difficult to get a college degree these days. There's a lot of competition. There are a lot of universities handing out a lot of degrees to people who probably don't deserve it. Hot take. So you can't just rely on your university degree. For some of you, going to university might not even be the best decision, but the truth is you can never know until you've gone through the entire process. For me personally, I'm very happy that I went to university and I pursued the majors that I did and I lived in the city that I am right now, New York City, because of the kind of exposure I got, because of the kind of people I met, because of the kind of failures and heartbreaks I had to go through, because of the kind of intellectual curiosity that I was able to develop for myself. And even though I will never work in a corporate setting, another video on that soon, it still taught me very valuable lessons that I will take with me for the rest of my life. But yeah, that's all for today's video. Don't rely on your college degree. Build yourself, build skills, build projects, and I'm sure you're going to be just fine. If you have any video ideas for me, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you tomorrow.